All right, yo, what's up? This is a video that I think that I'm kind of surprised that I've ever really needed to make. I've gone through phases in WoW where I feel like less obligated to play. Maybe I'm dealing with a little bit of burnout. Maybe I'm a little bit just tired of the game. But I feel like now in Shadowlands more than ever, the state of it's not even burnout, but just like the state of like what the game is for me right now is in a weird spot. And I just kind of want to talk about like some of the problems that World of Warcraft has right now, and the reason that I think that you've seen a large community shift to playing other MMOs like Final Fantasy or like New World. I think that those are fairly popular right now. You're having a lot of other World of Warcraft creators dabbling in other things. I've been playing TFT a lot. I've also been playing just like party games with my guild. I've just been doing a lot of other stuff. You have some people also like jumping into PoE, that kind of stuff. And now more than ever, people are playing WoW as like a seasonal game, and then once the season for WoW is kind of more or less run its course, people are taking a break. So I wanted to talk about like what I've identified as like the problems with World of Warcraft, and honestly just like how I'm feeling about the whole entire thing, because I feel like everybody kind of feels about the same, but they don't really know how to express it. And I honestly want to hear like what your guys' thoughts and opinions are. Maybe you guys disagree with me, maybe you guys agree with me. And I think that like obviously for me it's like from a different perspective, because I am a content creator. I do push fairly high keys. I cast the MDI, I cast race world first events, I raid in like a pretty decent guild. So like my experiences are definitely going to be different from everybody's. I think that everybody's experiences are going to be different. Nobody's are like invalid. And I do want to hear if like you guys feel the same way, or maybe if you guys feel a little bit different. So definitely make sure to leave a comment on this. So I think the first thing that I wanted to discuss is just like the state of how often patches are coming out. And I think that that's been something that's been heavily criticized. I actually feel like a large issue for the game right now, specifically in Shadowlands, specifically in 9.1, is how 9.0 went. So 9.0, honestly, is better than 8.0, and it was better than 7.0 in terms of like what content you were getting, how fleshed out the systems were. Like they still weren't perfect, but they were more fleshed out than 8.0 and 7.0, yet the content felt less rewarding in a different way. And I think that I've done a lot of thinking about this in particular, because it's just like, why does it feel less rewarding? And I think that I've come to the conclusion that 9.0 lasted too long, that most people feel like they got all that they want to out of the whole entire expansion. And so what do I mean about this? So the expansion launched with 8 dungeons. It launched with Castle Nathria. It launched with Covenants, Soulbinds, the Maw, Torghast. It launched with all of the systems that you're going to have for the whole entire expansion. And then also it launched with, okay, so this is going to be a major criticism of mine. It launched with only 8 dungeons that you were able to run into the ground for how long? I don't know. What was it, like 7 months, 8 months, something like that? The expansion launched in November, and then the new patch came out in like June. So however long that ended up being. And so it launched with 8 dungeons, and then June/July, 9.1 finally comes out. You don't have new dungeons, and the only new content you have is Korthia grinding, the new seasonal affix, which honestly is not bad, and Sanctum of Domination, which honestly is also not that bad. Like, Sanctum of Domination is not terrible. Korthia, I think that Korthia is not a terrible iteration of like dailies and stuff like that. It's not great, but it's not. I think that all dailies kind of suck. I think that dailies kind of suffer from this issue of like they're all kind of bad. But you do them because you need to. And then Sanctum of Domination and the Tormented Affix were both like not that bad, but the issue comes down to the fact that the content pacing made like coming out of 9.0 and 9.0.5 made you feel like you've already completed the full game because you've done all the things that you want to do. You pushed keys on Prideful. You experienced all 8 of those dungeons basically until their fullest extent. You ran Castle Nathria 100 times. You maxed out almost all of your covenants. You got all of the the appearances that you were looking for. You got all of the mounts that you were looking for. You swapped covenants, or you didn't swap covenants because you felt like you couldn't. And so then once you are done with content and you're done progressing the expansion, then you just like unsubscribe, right? And you go play New World, you go play Final Fantasy, you go play, in my case, TFT, PoE. There's a lot of different games that people are playing right now in the WoW scene specifically. And I think that this is what I've identified as the biggest problem. And this is why people talk about like 9.1.5 being a great patch. Absolutely factually true. 9.1.5 is an is looking to like shape up to be one of the best 0.5 patches ever, and the quality of life that it's adding is insurmountable. At the same time, I do not think it addresses the core fundamental issues of what this expansion has had, where you completed the expansion way too early, and you felt like you were done. And so I'm running into this issue right now, and I think that so many people are also running this problem, where they stayed subscribed. Sanctum of Domination came out, Korthia came out, the new patch hit. You progressed the patch up until you felt like you were kind of done with Sanctum of Domination. You saw Tormented to fix just enough to where you felt like you were good on that, and then you stopped playing. And you did the exact same thing that you did in 9.0, where you're just like, I feel like I have gotten everything out of this patch that I reasonably can. And this is the issue that I'm running into, is that I am feeling more than ever that I am running not necessarily out of content, because there is a lot of things that I can do, but running out of like progression points for myself to be able to continue to improve on and to see things, and having that World of Warcraft experience that we've had for the past 2 expansions. And it's not even something that's like historically a thing. It wasn't a thing in Warlords. It wasn't a thing before Warlords, where you just had patches of content that lasted like full expansions. So it's definitely like a newfound phenomenon. It was a Legion and BFA thing, where they would continue to give you borrowed power systems, or like completely revamp the full game on every single patch. But at the same time, now that's kind of what players expect, and it's changed. How I feel about the game has changed over time relative to also how this experience has been. And I actually don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that just like expectations have to change. For me now, World of Warcraft is more of like a seasonal game, right? I'm still actually enjoying like raid logging, right? I'm still doing stuff with my guild. I'm still doing keys whenever I'm invited to do keys. But I'm not playing World of Warcraft for 12, 14, 16 hours a day like I used to back in BFA and Legion. And I'm playing it way more, not like casually, but way more often on like seasons. And I suspect that that's going to happen with 9.1.5, and we're going to talk about this in a second. And I suspect that this is going to happen in 9.2. And the only thing that can actually really change this perspective, I think, for me personally, is a full new expansion coming out with absolutely brand new content, where then I'm able to engross myself in that full experience and kind of engorge myself with the unlimited amount of content that comes with a brand new expansion. And I think that that's, for me, like one of the only things that is going to change, at least for right now, how Shadowlands is faring for me personally. And I think that this is something that I want to hear about, is like, is this also how you feel? Like, do you feel like you have progressed this expansion as much as you realistically can? Still don't hate the game, still are going to stay subbed, going to do your raid logging thing, going to do keys whenever you want to, but you're just not playing the game as much as you actively have been in the past. All right, so let's talk about 9.1.5. Sick patch, absolutely phenomenal patch. I hope that the direction of like this kind of thing continues on, where the developers are communicating with the players. I think that this is the biggest thing that I have to see changed, is like the developers need to be communicating with the players. On top of that, they are looking to add new things like Legion Time Walking Mythic Plus. They're finally budging on Covenants being swappable. Some would argue that it's too little too late. I would be more in that camp, but at the same time, I'm not going to complain about getting something eventually, right? I'm happy that I'm going to be having it, though. And so, like, while 9.1.5 is going to be a sick patch for that, at the same time, it's not... I don't want to say it's not anything new, because that's not necessarily what I mean, but it's like it's not... it's not enough, if that makes any sense, where, like... yeah, I'm going to play it. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it, but it's not going to be enough to like satiate my desire for what I'm looking for content-wise for more than like a few weeks, right? Even Time Walking Mythic Plus from Legion is only out for 2 weeks. So, I mean, for me, that's like how long I'm going to play it. Maybe just 2 weeks and be like, okay, cool. Now I'm waiting for 9.2 for the new raid to come out. And that's how I feel like I'm playing the game right now. I'm playing it in like spurts, where I'm intermittently getting like bursts of passion, where I'm like, oh, this is super cool. I'm going to do this for a long time. And then it's just like, all right, now it's back to kind of waiting in limbo, waiting for the next patch, waiting for the next raid to come out, and doing all of those things that are associated with a brand new patch. And then once that is over, then I kind of everything kind of peters off like really quick. This expansion is what I've noticed the most, is that everything is just how fast the content is becoming stale for Shadowlands specifically has, I felt like, been almost at an unprecedented rate. And so that's my problems with World of Warcraft. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just like a difference in the state of the game and difference of philosophy moving forward. I actually don't have that many problems with like what the game currently is. I actually do feel like the game is in a pretty good spot, but at the same time, it's just like this weird feeling where it's like I've kind of run out of things to do. And dude, I swear now more than ever, like I'll log in and there will just be like nobody in on my guild. Like for the longest time, there was always like 5-10 people logged in to the game in my guild. And lately, now more than ever, we just have like like 1, 2, 0. Where people are just kind of like playing the game actively less. And so I think it's not just a me thing. It's also like a state of the game thing where a lot of people feel like they have fully progressed how much of the game they want to. And anyways, I don't mean to be a downer. I don't even think it's like that bad. Like ultimately, I'm not super bummed on the whole entire situation. I think it's just the state of the game. For me, I'm just gonna have to like adapt content wise. It's not like it's really not that big of a deal. I'm still enjoying doing the Titan Forge podcast once a week. I'm still enjoying making the GG WoW videos. I'm still enjoying doing the weekly Wowhead videos as well. Like all of that stuff is still a lot of fun for me. I'm still enjoying casting the MDI and all of that. Like ecosystem of stuff I'm still enjoying, but just like actively playing the game is something that like I'm playing the game a couple times a week, and then beyond that I'm just kind of chilling and doing other related activities that I have been enjoying. But that's my thoughts on it. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys later.